Hey there, today's video I'm going to share with you the 9 best things about living in Draper, Utah, and I'm getting after it right now. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Greg Spackman. I'm with the Living in Salt Lake City channel. So if you want to learn everything about what it's like to live here, eat here, sleep here, play here, then click the subscribe button and the bell to be notified every time I do new videos. I've been getting a ton of people that are reaching out to me about making that move to the Salt Lake City area and Draper area, and I absolutely love it. So if that's you, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. I'd love to help you make your move here. And so we've now lived in the Salt Lake City area for the last 2 years, and Draper still remains one of my favorite areas to show property in and help people move to. So let's get going. Number 1 on the list, and probably one of the coolest things about Draper, Utah, is the views of Salt Lake City and the view of Utah Lake. So depending upon where you choose to live in Draper, if you live at the top of the mountain, you're going to have some of the best views anywhere around. Just the view of Salt Lake City at night is really, really cool. There's a couple places you can park at these trailheads where you could do hiking and stuff, but you'd be able to see what the view of Salt Lake City looks like, and you're looking out over the entire Salt Lake City area, and it's awesome at night. And then on the back side of Draper, you're going to be able to see all of Utah County. You're going to be able to see Utah Lake, and when it's really, really clear up there, it's awesome. They also do some really neat thing at Christmas time with the Christmas lights. So even if you don't celebrate Christmas, but you want to check out the lights, they are super cool to see as well. But just the views of Utah and just the views up there are incredible. Now, when you're down in the foothills, then you're going to be able to see a different view. You're going to see like the view of the mountains, which you're going to get in all the other areas. But that is one of the perks of living in Draper, is just your view. And yeah, the number 2 cool thing about living in Draper, Utah, is Draper gets more snow than a lot of the other areas because it butts up against the mountains. It typically gets a foot or more of snow than what other cities get. So where I'm at in Harriman, we don't get near the snow that they get in Draper. So that could be a pro for you or a con, just depends on if you want the snow. But they do a fantastic job of clearing the snow out, plowing the roads, salting the roads, all of that to get you down from the hill if you're up there in the mountains or just on the lower levels. But just know that you're going to deal with more snow being in that part of Salt Lake City. And that's a super cool thing, just the fact that you're going to be able to have more snow to enjoy and play with and just deal with. The number 3 reason that you're really going to love living in Draper, Utah, is all the shopping and the good food and food options that you're going to have in Draper. So I'm going to showcase a few of those on the map here with you, but Garage Grill is an amazing place to eat. It has pretty decent food, and you can get sushi there, which is good for me. And then just what it has inside of it, I don't want to spoil all of it, so just check out Garage Grill if you get a chance. They also have one in Harriman that you could choose to go to as well. But here's where some of the restaurants and food choices. So we have this little shopping center right off Bangerter and I-15 that has a few little food places. There's a Neater's Bakery, Big Eye Poke Grill. I haven't tried that. There's a Beans and Brews in here. There's a taco place, Little Caesars. And that gives you a few little places that you're going to be able to get to. So it depends on where you're at. Along 12,300 or 123rd, you're going to have a teriyaki grill. You're going to have Chick-fil-A. Then you have a Cup Bop, Mr. Charlie's Chicken Fingers, a few other little places. This is up here where the Garage Grill is. And then this is one of my favorite fast food burger places other than In-N-Out Burger is Freddy's. So if you haven't tried Freddy's, it's pretty good for a fast food burger. I hadn't tried them until I went back to Tennessee. And then when I came back here to Utah after visiting there, I noticed that there was one here. So we'll go there from time to time. There's just a ton of other restaurants to pick from. Most of your food options are going to be along 123rd as far as other restaurants. And I'm going to leave you to find those out. But we go to this In-N-Out Burger here all the time. There's a Rancheritos Mexican food place here. Just a ton of places that are along this road and a few other places in Draper. You're going to have a ton of options for food. Then you have Sandy that's right next door, which has even more food and to pick from as well. The number 4 reason you're going to love living in Draper, Utah is the rankings of Draper, Utah. So let's go through those right now from niche.com. So here are the rankings from niche.com. It is the 11th best suburb to raise a family in Utah, and that's all of Utah. It has an A- overall niche rating, an A for public schools, B- for housing, and that B- is because the house prices are pretty pricey in Draper. A, it's good for families. A- for jobs. C- cost of living. Of course, housing goes into that majorly because everything else is going to be very similar. A for outdoor activities. B- crime and safety. B, nightlife. I would rate it more like a C+ for nightlife. B for diversity. B for weather. And then A for health and fitness, and B+ for commute. Draper rankings that really stand out to me are the best place for best public schools is ranked number 1 in Utah. The suburb with the best public schools ranked number 1. The best suburb for young professionals ranked number 11th. So as you can see, according to niche.com, it has amazing rankings, especially the schools in Draper. So if that's important to you, then Draper would be a great area. And then all the other rankings make Draper just one of the top cities to pick from in all of Salt Lake City area. The number 5 reason that you're going to pick Draper to live in is its location. And so let's see where that is on the map. All right, so Draper is highlighted here in red that you can see. And so up to the north is Salt Lake City. You got I-15 that runs right through Draper. Draper kind of spans both sides of the freeway, and then south on I-15. So realistically, you have the main freeway. Then you're going to have State Street is your other main artery that goes all the way up to Salt Lake City. And so then you can see down here where Provo is. So as I scroll out here, this probably gives you a good view of where Draper's highlighted in red. Salt Lake City is up to the north. Provo is down to the south. And it's just in a great location as far as distance. So if you happen to work in either Salt Lake City or in Provo area, then you're in a great spot because you're about equal distance roughly to both. Maybe it's a little bit further to Provo, but it's close enough. And you have a ton of shopping that's available down here in American Fork, right here where the Cabela's is. All of this is just a ton of shopping, and then Thanksgiving Point is right here. So you're going to have a ton of things that are near you in choosing to live in Draper. So hopefully that gave you a good idea of where Draper is in relation to Salt Lake City and Provo, Utah, and that if you're going to be working in either location, it's a great city to choose from, to pick from. The number 6 thing that's super cool about living in Draper, and that's the Draper Temple. So where I'm at, and I go fishing all the time, I will sit at my Riverton pond and I can see the Draper Temple off to the east, and it's super cool at night. It gives you a landmark of, so I know exactly where Draper is just by that temple on the hill, but it's super neat to see at night. So the number 7 thing that's cool about being in Draper, Utah is the outdoors. It has some good hiking trails and biking trails and just things for you to do in the outdoor space. That has a suspension bridge hike that I did last summer, and the suspension bridge is definitely worth doing it. There's 2 ways you can get to it. You can do this longer 2-ish mile hike to it, and then you can do a shorter route and you can do some switchbacks up to the suspension bridge. Just know you can get to it 2 different ways. If you hike at all, then it would be something that you'll really want to see, even if you're not a big hiking fan. Just doing the switchback route, if you take it slowly, bring some water with you, you can definitely make it up there. And then the view out over the valley there, and the view of like the copper mine and the mountains that direction are awesome. And it's super neat and something cool that you can do. And then there's a bunch of other hikes and trails that you're going to be able to do. And then mountain biking you can do, and biking. Just Draper is well made for the outdoors. You're not that far away from a ski resort. Alta and Snowbird are your 2 nearest ski resorts. And then you got Solitude and Brighton that aren't even much further than that, and then Park City to enjoy. The number 8 thing that you're going to like about living in Draper, Utah is a place called the Point, and this is where the prison used to be. So they are in the process of tearing it down. I can show you where that is on the map right now, but it's going to be what's called a 15-minute city. They should be adding a tracks and front runner train depot there, so it'll make it easy for mass transit to get around. But here's where it is on the map. So it's this area here where you can see it says state prison. This is where the prison was located. So they're tearing that down as we speak and removing all the buildings and everything else. But you're going to see all of this area here is going to be developed into this really cool area, and it's going to bring a lot of change to the Draper area, just because, you know, as you can see, it was a prison and they moved that to the North Salt Lake area near the airport. And this is just going to revitalize this whole area and make it a cool place to be and stuff for you to enjoy. So that's super exciting that they are building all of that there at that location, and just a ton of different shopping and office buildings and homes and apartments and condos and whatever all they decide to build there. But it's going to be awesome once it's all completed. The number 9 thing that you need to know about living in Draper, Utah, and that's public transportation. And public transportation in Draper is pretty good. You got the track system, which you can get around with, the front runner train, rideshare, Uber, Lyft. You're going to be able to get around via public transportation really, really well. If you work in downtown Salt Lake City, you don't even have to drive your car in there if you don't want to. You can just take the tracks up for less than $100 a month. You're going to be able to have a all-access pass for tracks. You can get all the way over to Daybreak if you wanted to go there. You can go all the way down to Provo, Utah. You're going to be able to get around on public transportation living in Draper, Utah, which is awesome. So I wanted to give you a bonus item for something that you're maybe aren't aware of or wanted to know about, and that's you can get new construction still in Draper. They have a number of new communities that are being built there, and it just depends on your budget. If you're going to be able to afford new construction in Draper, it is pricey, but you have the availability to buy something in Draper. You just got to reach out to me. And then one other thing that a lot of people aren't thinking about, and that's the fact that people are buying homes in Draper, they're tearing down the home, and then they're building their brand new home on the lot. And you can get some nice sized lots up to, half an acre, 3/4 acre size lots that were there. And that's something that I can help with for sure. And then you can get a custom home built in Draper on a nice sized lot, so you're not on this little small postage sized lot. So as you can see, Draper is one of the top cities to live in near Salt Lake City, Utah. So if this checks a lot of your boxes on a place to live, then please give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. Let's talk about getting you moved here to the Draper, Utah. And until next time, be rad.